Hello, welcome Panda viewers. This is Panda Rant. I'm Kyle Smith, and I'm supposed to inform you that I'm not allowed to practice law in Missouri. They're kind of making me say that. It's recently come to my attention that we make fun of a lot of stuff here. And sometimes that stuff is important to other people.
How dare you go after Disney all like that? You need to stop going after Disney and going after something that you love. You sorry son of a bitch. Cut it out and get it right.
That was my mom. So, sadly, she's right. I do go after things that I like, but I'm not super big fans of. And that's why today I've discovered a massive problem with one of my all-time favorite movie franchises ever. Star Wars. I'm a die-hard Star Wars fan. I've loved those movies. But there's a huge issue. Basic ground rule. I can only go off of the movies. Why? Because otherwise I'll have you nerds out there going, well, had you read the books? And guess what, assholes? I did read the books. That's how I know things like the fact that the scientists who developed the fucking Death Star also later developed the World Devastators and the Sun Crusher. But I also know that this was done entirely under the Empire, and they show the Death Star has blueprints during the Old Republic days. So, suck it. When we first see Tatooine in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, we see that Tatooine is a large planet that has slavery practiced in the open. No one takes the centralized currency. The Republic credit isn't worth the paper it's printed on. Crime is kind of rampant. I mean, Jabba the Hutt kicks off a giant underground slave death race that is like the main thing to do. Hey, I'm Jabba the Hutt, galaxy famous gangster. I mean, that's some pretty brazen shit. That'd be like Al Capone kicking off a NASCAR race. When we come back to Tatooine in Episode 4, we see that there isn't slavery anymore. Slavery has been ended. How do we know this? Because Luke Skywalker, the main protagonist, has grown up on a farm. Not only has he grown up on a farm, he's grown up on a farm where his grandmother was a fucking slave. Uncle Owen tells Luke, well, maybe after the harvest I'll have enough money to hire some new help. You know why that's important? Because he says I'm going to hire help, not I'm going to buy help, like you would in an agricultural slavery economy. On to the next issue. We see Luke sells his land speeder off for money he'll be able to utilize off Tatooine and on Alderaan. In Episode 1, the Jedi couldn't use the fucking Republic credits. Luke, however, can use a centralized currency for him that is good throughout the galaxy. Finally, we meet Han Solo, another of the movie's protagonists, and the anti-hero of the movie. Han's in trouble because he dumped a giant shipment of illicit goods that he has been smuggling for Jabba. The Empire almost caught him, and he dumped him. We see that the Empire has ended slavery. We see that they have fixed the economy, and that they're cracking down on crime. This is shit you expect from a government. Now, every other movie where a rebellion is the key central element, you hear why there's a rebellion. Braveheart. We're really not happy with the whole fact that you're letting your nobility have less than consensual sex with our wives. That's a legitimate problem with your government. Hunger Games. You're forcing our children to participate in annual death matches. Again, legitimate beef with your government. Real reasons to rebel. But we never get told why the rebels are rebelling. All we get told is that the Empire is evil. In the prologue of the movie with the big floating words, it just says the evil galactic empire. We never hear why. Maybe it's because there's no democratic representation. Except in New Hope, Moff Tarkin actually states, hey, we had to suspend the Imperial Senate. Now, that could sound horrible to you, but let's face it, we go into martial law anytime the Lakers win the fucking championship. You could say that maybe the Empire is suppressing free speech, but we know that to be false because Princess Leia is an outspoken critic of the Empire. And she's not arrested for being an outspoken critic of the Empire. She's arrested because she is in fact guilty of stealing military technology. I can say I hate the US government all I fucking want. But the second I steal the plans for ICBMs, I've got the FBI knocking on my door. Now, you could say they're evil because they destroyed Alderaan, but let's examine that also. They destroy a known planet that is at least aiding and abetting rebels. During our own civil war here in this country, we burned Atlanta to the ground. Alright? We have dropped nuclear bombs on other nations during times of war. Destroying a city is probably pretty representative of destroying a planet when your country is in fact the galaxy. Is the Empire in fact evil? I don't think so. No more so than any other government, at least on our planet. I mean, they're just a government. They're fighting against an open rebellion, and they're utilizing technologies that are kind of representative of the technologies we currently have. Why do we root for the rebels? That's all for this week's episode of Panda Rant. Please join me next week when I will be discussing... This just says fat chicks question mark. What am I discussing about that, Pat? Fat chicks question mark? What is that?